Good evening, my We Are Tottenham TV supporters out there and my fellow Tottenham fans. Welcome back to the channel, and your boy Big Dave is back for one of the biggest occasions of the season, and I cannot wait. I do apologise about being late. I did have to go and take a quick dark kite. If anyone knows what that rhymes with, I think you'll understand. But also, it is a massive game tonight, London Derby, a lot on the line. I would say we have a real advantage to sort of put our claws into top four with Aston Villa playing Man City tomorrow night. So it's a huge chance for us to win, go level points with Villa with a game in hand. So a huge opportunity here. But Kate, it's a big one tonight. You pumped? You feeling it?
I'm pumped. I'm feeling it, but I'm also extremely nervous. We all know this is West Ham's cup final tonight. So, you know, for me, it's another must win. But I'm not going to sit here and say I'm full of confidence. But then I have been for the last couple of games, and one we lost and one we very nearly didn't win. So I'm not sure if it's a good thing that I'm not feeling that confident tonight.
Do you know what, Kate? I'm coming into this game, right? And I understand the nerves around it. And I think a lot of supporters are really nervous coming into this. We can't deny that West Ham do pose a threat. We played them pre-season. We absolutely battered them. Created how many chances? Didn't take enough or didn't take any. They came up the other end and took the little chances they had earlier on in the season. We dominated. We tried to batter the door down. We scored one. They came back 1-2-1 on the breakaway. They're absolutely expert at it. You know, that's what David Moyes is all about. So we know exactly what we're going to face tonight. But Ange did say that there is belief in the team after the victory. I was also speaking to Sandro and Chris Cowlands on Saturday night, and he was saying to me, I asked him a question. I says, how difficult is it to get back into the rhythm of things first game after the international break? Because, of course, he used to play for Brazil and come and represent Spurs. And he said to me, it's very, very difficult, you know, to get back into the rhythm of things. You know, you're asked to do different things for your country than you are for your club. It's more so getting back, trying to find your rhythm as best as you can, getting that result on the board and get into the next game full of confidence. And we've done that. And weirdly enough, despite, you know, me maybe being a bit nervous ahead of this game, I just have that sense of calm around me. I don't know why. I just think Tottenham might rock up and surprise us tonight, because it is when you're nervous about Tottenham they go out and perform. It's when you're actually confident about them they really let you down. So it'll be interesting to see what Tottenham team turn up tonight. But if you had to take a guess, Kate, what Tottenham team do you think will turn up? Will we rock up and play the way we play and put West Ham to the sword? Or do you think because it's such a tight turnaround between the two games that, you know, it could be a very sort of cagey affair tonight?
Well, going on previous sort of games and how we've been playing over the past few weeks, I think it's going to be a slow start again. I'm hoping we can soak up the pressure in the first half and go in at least 0-0, if not winning, because we all know that in the second half we come to life. But I'd love to sit here and say I think we'd come out all guns blazing, straight out the traps. But going by what I've seen of recent times, I'm sure Tottenham are determined to give us all a heart attack, because it's been squeaky bum time for a lot of games this season. I'm not sure I can cope with another one. I'm not going to lie.
Neither can I, and not to these guys tonight, Kate. You know, we've got to absolutely turn these over tonight. It's a huge London derby, but the last time we had that opportunity was Fulham, another London derby, and we got played off the park that night. You know, so it's going to be a physical battle. It's up to us to match that and earn the right to play tonight, and hopefully the right Tottenham team turn up. And look, like I said, I get the concerns. You know, we've been a one-half team all season, and it's been longer than Postecoglou. It's been like that under Jose. It's been like that under Conte. Nice golden cockerel there, by the way. I don't know why you took that. Oh, the cat. You know, the cat. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I was going to say, you know, don't take that down. It's bad omens. But when you look at Tottenham, because, Kate, it wasn't earlier on in the season, we started fast. You know, but we ended games sort of slow. But now we're starting games slow and ending games, you know, on a high. Is that a purpose tactic maybe by Postecoglou? And the reason why I asked that question, Kate, is earlier on in the season, you can catch teams starting slow, just getting into the rhythm of things coming off the back of preseason and stuff like that. And then later on in the season, you would say more games are won towards the end when teams are tired out and maybe have more minutes in their leg. Do you think it's a purpose ploy by Postecoglou to switch it up over the season? Or, like I said, it's been happening since Jose and Conte. Is it something that maybe he's sort of failing to eradicate out of Tottenham?
I like to think that it is a purposeful tactic by Postecoglou. I appreciate that we were slow under Conte, but then it all came out that before the match he had them running miles and they were knackered before they even kicked off the match. Whereas I think Postecoglou likes to sort of sit back, try and absorb the pressure, which isn't sustainable against the top teams. I do appreciate that because that's the argument I always get back. But try and sustain sort of all this pressure that we get because our game is so it's so physical and there's so much running around. Obviously, most players can't do that for 90 minutes. So sit back, try and absorb the pressure. Second half, when the other team is starting to tire, kick in. So, yeah, I'm going to put it out there and say I think Angie's doing this on purpose and that this is all part of the master plan.
I really do hope so. I really do hope so in that regard, Kate. Alex Zanos, come on, you Gunners, Arsenal fan. He says, do you think it might take another late goal to win this? Been hard for you to win versus West Ham away recently. And he's spot on. I don't think we've won there in our last 3 trips. In fact, I don't believe I've seen something there earlier on. We haven't beaten West Ham since Jose Mourinho's first game in charge against them. So, you know, you're right. We don't have a good record against West Ham. Like I alluded to pre-season, despite us dominating, we still lost the game. And also the game earlier on in the season, they have our number. You know, you got to say it. When it comes to late goals, I mean, Kate, it could very well come down to sort of late goals. We've heard Maddison make quotes in the past saying, you know, asking why do we score so many late goals? If you go look back and look at the amount of goals we scored from 70 minute onwards, it's an absolute incredible amount. And he said it's simple because the amount of possession we have, we tire teams out and it sort of opens up spaces and stuff like that. Do you see maybe it being the same today again, Kate, where we could be frustrated for maybe 60, 70 minutes, but all of a sudden Tottenham come to life late in the game?
I don't want to be the voice of doom because this is the pump up, but I have actually tipped us not to win this game. I'm really sorry to everybody, but normally when I tip a loss, we win. So that's a good thing. But I think it's going to be really close. I think there's going to be quite a few goals. And I think it's one of those games that's going to be on a knife edge and probably will be won at the death. It's just I've got a funny feeling West Ham are going to be the ones that come off on the winning side. But I hope and pray I'm wrong because I detest losing to West Ham. I can't bear it. I mean, we all know if they do the double over us this year, they're going to have T-shirts printed. They did it last time. Do you know what I mean? It is that cringy. This is exactly what's going to happen. So, but I do think it's going to be edgy. Like I say, I think the first half particularly will be really tight. But if we can absorb the pressure and try and go in minimum drawing, we've got massive chance because we sort of can reserve our energy and then kick in the second half.
Look, what I would say is if we don't turn up tonight and we don't perform, I think the most important thing is not to lose. You know, when we went on that top 4 run underneath Conte, although we didn't have the best of games, I think it was against Brentford and Brighton, we didn't lose on the running. You know, we picked up points. Even if we weren't playing well, we still got to draw out of games. And I think that's the most important thing over these next 9 games. Even if we don't turn up tonight, just don't lose the game. Don't roll over, you know. Show maybe that things have changed from last year where we were in a similar position last year with Newcastle United and we completely rolled over at the end of the season. Hopefully, you know, tonight can be different. We go there with a different mentality. And like Postecoglou said, hopefully the team are confident off the back of that win against Luton. But Alex, I do see your point. You know, we are a team that scores late. You know, it used to be Fergie time. It's not now. It's now called Ange time. So we've repurposed that, which I suppose is a huge plus. But Kate, we'll get into maybe a bit of the threat that West Ham pose a bit later on. I want to ask you on team selection tonight. Look, Vicario, he's played every minute in the Premier League season. We don't have a backup goalkeeper at the minute because Fraser Forster injured, so he'll start. But maybe there's question marks around maybe Dragusin maybe starting over one either Van de Ven or sort of Romero today because maybe counteract West Ham's aerial threat. A lot of people would say he'd be ideal for that.
Yeah, sorry, I did drop out a minute there, but so I didn't hear your question. But I think you was asking me do I think Van de Ven's going to start? Is that what you was asking me? Sorry,
no,
Dave.
so I was saying to you, Kate, about Dragusin. You know, there's been sort of some people are saying maybe he should start today to counteract West Ham's aerial threat from set pieces and stuff like that. Do you think he might start today?
I don't want him to start today.
Why?
I think we need our strongest team. I think Van de Ven, we need his pace. His ball recovery, everything points to me that Van de Ven has got to come straight back into this team tonight. I mean, Dragusin, I think he's getting quite a hard time from a lot of Spurs fans at the minute, considering he's only played sort of a couple of games. But yeah, for me, Van de Ven has to play tonight without any shadow of a doubt. He is just different gravy. Him and Romero together are just a different gravy altogether. So I don't think it's even a discussion. If he's fit, he starts.
Look, for me, I think Dragsson done okay. There is some good things I've seen in his couple of performances. Against Fulham, he made some great blocks, which shows he's willing to put his body on the line. And against Luton, I think, there was times where he did have the confidence. He got on the ball and drove forward. It did remind me of Mickey van der Ven. However, when I look at Dragsson, he's completely uncomfortable on his left foot on the left-hand side. And it does have a knock-on effect to someone like Destiny Udogie, who's had 2 below-par games. And I do believe that's because he doesn't have he doesn't feel comfortable with Dragsson beside him as he does with Van der Ven. I think Dragsson would be a great option on the right-hand side, competing with Romero. But if to come in on the left-hand side today, I don't want to see it. I think it'll cause us a problem. And the longer we try and persist with him on the left, it will become a trigger point for opposition with how uncomfortable he is. So for me, I think Van der Ven has to come in. I'm going to read you a few stats here, Kate, with Van der Ven so far in the Premier League this season. So Tottenham with Van der Ven, he's played 18 games. We've won 12 times. And so far, Van der Ven has missed 11 games, and we've only won 5 times. So it does show with Van der Ven in the team, we are much more equipped to go and win a game of football. When he plays, more or less, we pick up points. So I think he's absolutely crucial. So on that, he has to come in tonight. And I don't think Romero will be dropped just lightly like that, because he is our leader across that back line. And for me, it's about building that partnership and, maybe saying to Dragsson, look, you're going to have to improve your game a lot more if you want to destabilize these two. But Kate, off them stats, what is it that Van der Ven brings to this team that makes him so important? As I said there, when he plays, we win.
I just think he's so calm at the back. His tackling is just so on point. He always gets the ball. He's never. I know Romero's been exceptional for 2024, not even picked up a card. But I just feel so safe with Van der Ven in defence. He's such a Rolls Royce. He looks like he's been playing the game at Tottenham for years. And he's calm. I think he calms Romero down, because Romero knows if he doesn't get to the ball, Van der Ven's going to mop up after him. His pace is second to none. He's just, I think he's an incredible player. We have got ourselves a gem. And I did say that I think he's one of the finest signings Spurs have done for years and years and years. I think he is a fantastic player.
No, I think he's an absolute Rolls Royce. I mean, when we signed him, I done my Welcome to Tottenham video, and I said we could, after a season or two, could very well become £100 million player, and it looks like he is on that sort of course. I also take your point. I think Romero looks a lot more comfortable beside him. I feel like Romero feels like he can take a lot more risks in possession, but also in terms of, stopping the ball at source when it does come into one of the strikers' feet. He can get right up behind him or go and challenge for it, because he knows, if it doesn't quite happen, he does have that backup behind him in Van der Ven. I think you're absolutely spot on there. The Belgian Hotspur says, Dave, of course we want Mickey to start, but only if he's 200% fit. If he pulls up again, it's a big problem for the end of the season. No, look, that's why I think he personally was held back against Luton, just to make sure he is fully fit and ready to go for tonight. So I do think he will come in tonight, and I don't think Postecoglou would start him without making sure he's 100% fit, because Van der Ven, with them hamstring injuries, you look how it's blighted Session's career and completely derailed it, is something that we do have to monitor with Van der Ven and be very careful that we don't just throw him back in just straight away because we need him. Hopefully with the signing of Dragsson and 1 or 2 more maybe to come, that we won't be at that again. We'll have a full squad so we can play players when they're actually fit and not just rushing them back. And then we also have this from Andrew. Feinberg says, anyone criticizing Dragsson as being quite harsh? I think people are forgetting he's not left-sided defender. It'd be interesting to see if Romero played left centre-back or Van der Ven as right centre-back, how they do. No, look, 100%, I take your point. And look, to that degree, I don't think me and Kate were criticizing him whatsoever. I think we're actually making a very similar point that he is more suited to the right-hand side, battling out with Christian Romero. Don't get me wrong, he's filled in. But with how nervous he is himself and uncomfortable on the left foot, going out to the left-hand side, it does make people nervous around him. It's a bit like Eric Dyer sometimes. You go back to that Fulham game, Dragsson went to play a couple of easy balls out to Brennan Johnson and put them out over the sideline. Eric Dyer used to do that. And once I seen Eric Dyer do that 2 or 3 times, I always used to go, we're going to lose this today, because I knew the effect it'd have on other people around him. So, and it's not a criticism, it's just maybe something that he probably needs to, look at in order to get himself into that first team, is what I would say. And he says he prays for Van der Ven's hamstrings every night. I'd say, go a step further and light some candles as well. That'd be absolutely brilliant. Okay, heading into midfield, I mean, what did you make of Basuma against Luton? Because again, it's another sort of a position that I think could be up for grabs tonight. You know, with Basuma. I mean, what did you make of his performance? And would you trust him again tonight, or would you bring someone else in?
I mean, I did the pre-match pump up with Jacob, and I said Basuma should be dropped, and he said he thinks he deserves another chance, but he was just dreadful. I mean, we all know if Basuma plays well and he can boss that midfield, and if he bosses that midfield, everyone else plays well because he leads everyone. Madders has got the freedom to be more creative. He was non-existent for me. I thought he had a really bad game. I don't think he should start, and I don't think he will start. For me, it should be done on form. It should be done on who deserves to start. And there's no way on this planet Basuma deserves to start. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence. I don't know if it's the effects of him not being well. I don't know what it is, but he is not right at the minute. And I mean, I watched him. I could have pulled my hair out because we all know what a great player he can be. We was all calling him Bossuma, you know, at the start of the season, and now he looks like he couldn't boss blink in a kindergarten school. Do you know what I mean? So, for me, I wouldn't start him in a million years because our midfield's going to be crucial today because they're very, very, very strong in midfield and they're a physical team. And although I was going to say Dave then, although Basuma is a physical. Although Basuma's a very physical player, he's just not at the races at the minute. So.
Do you know what? With Basuma, I find him largely frustrating. I think so far we've seen this season how good he really can be, but then we've also seen how costly he can be when he's off the levels. For me, he's sort of a player that you'll have to constantly be on. You know, you have to constantly be on his case. And, you know, since that game against Luton, all the reports have been that we're going to look to bring someone else in, maybe to compete with him next season and stuff like that. So right now he's under severe pressure as well with Højbjerg's words over the international break. So it'd be interesting to see what Postecoglou does today. Does he double down and believe in himself and Basuma being the right guy for that base of midfield, or does he mix it up? My old lad wants to see Højbjerg, despite him not being Højbjerg's greatest fan, because he's with you, Kate. He says it's going to be a very physical battle in there, and I agree with him. You know, that's one thing that West Ham are. Big, strong, physical guys that look to, you know, get their foot in at you at every time. And for me, you know, Basuma, I thought he was awful in the first half, but the second half, I thought he was good. I thought, you know, I seen him a lot more involved. But again, I'm sick of waiting for 45 minutes, you know, for our players to come alive. And that number 6 role has a big part to do with it, is the ticking heartbeat. If that ball gets moved quickly, it transcends the urgency through to everybody else. When it starts getting slow and moving at 5 yards, everyone else starts to seem to sort of sit into that rhythm and that pace. So for me, off the back of that, I would actually make a change today. I would like to see Bentancur come in there. I know people are going to say to me he's better suited further up, Dave. However, I think it'd be a huge mistake to take Papa Matasar out today if we do. I see a lot of predicted lineups maybe predicting that he might be getting rested. They might know something that I don't. I know that he has been nursing a back injury since he's come back from AFCON, but he's our most physical midfielder. He's the legs in there. He's the engine. He covers more ground than anybody else. If he comes out tonight, I bloody worry about that midfield. For me, I think it's a huge mistake, especially away from home against physical teams where you have to earn the right to play. For me, he has to start tonight. I think he's absolutely crucial. But, Kate, that brings me then on into the creativity role. Maddison, I mean, look, for me, I think he has to do a hell of a lot more to make that England squad. You've got Bellingham, Cole Palmer, you know, Foden, Kobe Mainoo and stuff like that. The spots are getting limited for him, and he's not producing at the minute. And this is why we bought him. Teams like Luton, who sit low block, West Ham, who sit low block, we bought him to get on the ball, dictate the game, and do his best to start breaking them down. For me, I don't think Maddison dictates the game enough. You know, he does a lot of showing, like, look at me, I want the ball. Then he passes back to the centre-back, and Van de Ven's almost looking at him going, but we employ you to take the ball off me and progress and make things happen and stuff. Do you have faith in Maddison today? Would potentially you switch that up, maybe bring in a Lo Celso? Some people would argue had a good impact off the bench last week, or even maybe move Kulu inside.
I mean, we had this discussion on my channel earlier, and a lot were saying Lo Celso deserves to start, but I've just lost all patience with Lo Celso. I can't lie. I just can't bear to think of him playing. He never looks interested. Yes, he did play decent when he came on, but for me, it's just too little too late as far as I'm concerned. But I would be tempted to move Kulu into that role. But at the same time, it's hard to drop Maddison because we all know what he can do. He can change a game like that. You know, he is a creative genius, but what I would say is I could see Postecoglou maybe starting Madders and seeing how it's going. And if, say, it gets to half time and he's not making an impact, swapping him out for either a Gio or perhaps a Kulu. Because do you know what? If Kulu starts on the wing tonight, I might go outside and scream, because I just can't stand Kulu on the wing. If he's going to be in the team in the middle, that's fine, but not on the wing for me.
When it comes to Lo Celso, I'm actually in agreement. And look, personally, I don't think Postecoglou has any plans for Lo Celso, up past the end of this season. So I think he's going to sort of persist with Maddison, between now and the end of the season. However, I think Postecoglou might have played a blinder taking him off early against Luton because he looked very frustrated and annoyed coming off the pitch. So hopefully, he comes into this game with a point to prove, and hopefully Postecoglou's played a blinder there. If not, I would look at maybe bringing in Kulusevski. Andrew said during the week he's not doing what we're training on during the week. He's not doing what we're asking. He keeps cutting inside. So, Kulu has said himself his best position is through the middle. Now, me personally, I see a lot of Harry Kane in the guy. I would argue, could you put him as a number 9 and give him a run along there and see what he could do? Obviously, he'd have to develop the clinicalness in front of goal that Harry Kane developed over a number of years. But in terms of hold-up play, the way he uses his body to shield the ball, stuff like that, the way he can run alongside people and hold them off, there is a lot that he has to that game. But, why not bring him in as competition for Maddison between now and the end of the season? I think it would actually serve both players well. Kulusevski, he's blowing hot and cold for large parts of this season, same as James Maddison. So, I think a bit of competition between the two of them would actually serve them very, very well. We have 4 minutes. Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, the stats for Kulu say that he's this wonderful player. You can't lie with stats. We can all go by the eye test, but stats don't lie. So there is something there. But he's very divisive. A lot of people don't like him on the wing. A lot of people do. I think there's a place for him in this team. I just don't think we found it. He's definitely better in the middle, but so many people are saying, play him as a 9. I'd love to see what happens if they do. That I would absolutely love to see him try it and see. Thank you. And see how he gets on. Because, like I said, there's definitely space. There's definitely a space for him in this team, but we've got to find his best position within this team and within this system.
No, 100%. And look, it could be one that, Postecoglou has said himself that the squad still isn't to his liking. There's still a lot of work to do on it. And Kulusevski may be a player that he's using there till the end of the season to get by and may actually repurpose him over the summer. One thing I would say is, I think it's a bit of to and fro. I think if you want your wingers to get to the byline and cross the ball, Kulusevski's left-footed. He's a big, strong guy. Why not put him on the left-hand side and see what he can do down there? But also, it is down to Kulusevski, to go and develop that right foot of his, And if he wants to take that next step, he does have to be as confident on his right as he is on his left. You don't always get the perfect opportunity in a game that falls to the foot that you want it in the position that you want it to. Sometimes it falls on your weaker side, and you have to learn to become competent with him. So maybe he needs to stay back in the training ground and look to develop on that as well. But I think the lineups should be out, so we'll just get on to them now. I'll have a look for them if it's out, and I'll bring it up. It is out. Just give me 1 second.
I love the lineup.
Okay. So let's bring it on screen. Let's bring it on screen. I think many people are surprised. Maybe not as many changes as we're expecting, but there is no Papa Matasar. So we do have Vicario in goals. Pedro Porro at right back. Romero and Van der Ven comes back in to replace Dragusin as the centre-backs with Doja at left back. Basuma, Bentancur and Maddison form the midfield, which means Sarr drops to the bench with Johnson, Son and Werner as the forward line. We've got Austin as the backup goalkeeper, Emerson Royale, Dragusin, Ben Davies, Pierre-Emile Zinedine Salzburg, Papa Mata Starboy, Giovanni Lachiccio, Kulusevski and Richarlison all on the bench. So he has dropped he has dropped Sarr and Kulusevski and Dragusin. So he's made 3 changes to that lineup, Kate. Oh, shit, I didn't bring it up. I thought I had it up on screen. I mean, what's your thoughts on the lineup now that we've seen it, especially that front line? Do you think it's the right front line for tonight?
I'm disappointed, first of all, that Biss is starting, and I'm disappointed with the front 3. I'm not going to lie. I wanted to see Werner, Richarlison and Sonny tonight. I think we need Richie's strength. I think we need Richie's aerial strength. I think the needle that Richie's got with Antonio was going to be essential for tonight's shithousery all over the pitch. So I am a little bit disappointed with the front 3. I still think Johnson is best off the bench. But, who am I to question Andrew? I just think we're going to miss Richie's sort of physical strength in that front 3 because they're quite lightweight. I know Werner's probably the strongest of the three. But yeah, for me, I think we should have had Sonny on the left and Rich in the middle. I don't know what you think, Dave.
Look, I'm not too happy about Sarr being brought out. I'm
No.
not sure the reasoning behind that. Maybe the idea is to get him on later on in the game, maybe, and sort of get into that midfield and have fresh legs in there, because West Ham, out of what they'll start tonight, they don't really have that much off the bench to come in. So maybe, Sarr will have a massive impact off the bench tonight. But that front three, me personally, Kate, I actually didn't mind Johnson coming in on the right-hand side. I think he deserved that after his performance. Now, where I do have concerns about, he's been the most impactful player off the bench this season with 6 goals, more than any other Premier League player. But when he started, bar that Aston Villa game, for me, sort of faltered to deceive. So it's now about him transcending from being an impact sub into be able to do it from the off. Now, it's going to be physical tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how Johnson handles that. I wouldn't say that's his best attribute. So for me, it's a big opportunity for the guy tonight to show that, people like me, Dave, I am good enough to start games. I am good enough to affect games from the start. So I'm okay with that. Me personally, I didn't want Werner to start tonight. I can understand, that he causes a lot of nuisance down that side. But if he took that opportunity against Luton that came his way, which I don't know why he hit it on the left, steering it away from goals when it was a right-footed tucking it in at the far post all day long finish, it would have been a different game and probably a lot easier game against Luton. And this is our biggest problem with Johnson and Werner. You don't quite know what you're going to get out of them when you put them out there, in terms of they could either be great or they could be really, really poor. So I think it's a huge risk. For me, I would have actually put Son out on the left. And the reason why is I think Son will be served better out there tonight. With West Ham, Son's best attribute when we play him up front is putting him in behind a high line. He's going to have to spend large periods tonight with West Ham's low block with his back to goal. And that is not Son's strength. The first goal against Luton, yes, other people made mistakes, but he got bullied off the ball, which led to their goal. Now, when he got the winner, he picked up the ball on the left-hand side, just out in front of our box, drove forward with it to the halfway line, and caught up with play and finished it. For me, that's where Son's at his most deadliest, and that's where the space is going to be for him today. Driving at West Ham, dropping deep, picking up the ball, driving at them, rather than him playing with West Ham with his back to goal. I also fear with West Ham, they'll keep it compact. They'll get the midfielders to keep it compact. They might very well be able to take Son out of the game tonight. So for me, that is a bit of a concern. I think we should have probably brought Richie in to take that physicality, take the hits, and get Son out onto the left. If you imagine Son in some of the positions Werner has found himself in so far over the last couple of weeks, I'd like to think Son would be a lot more clinical in that regard. But look, nonetheless, I have to go with Ange on this. This is what he wants. He does want a quick, interchangeable front line. So let's see how the likes of Werner and Johnson gets on. It all depends, with Sonny tonight for how they get on. Look, Son's been absolutely fantastic. He loves goals against West Ham and stuff like that. But I do worry about him down the middle tonight. But look, hopefully, I'm proven wrong, Kate. And, that doesn't come into play. He does the business, put West Ham to the sword earlier on, grab a couple of goals and bring Richarlison off the bench and let him go and finish the job. But look, I'm with it. Let's see what happens. But they're just maybe my concerns with him playing through the middle tonight. I think with Son, between now and the end of the season, we should sort of pick and choose what games suit him through the middle and then, operate it between them two. I would have also said it's a huge opportunity not to play Richarlison tonight, Kate, because it was Mikel Antonio on his shitty little podcast with Callum Wilson that mocked his finishing and, questioned his professionalism. So, I've no doubt him coming off the bench today potentially could be a game changer with a point to prove.
That's why I was really hoping he was going to start him, because I thought he's going to be bang up for proving Antonio wrong. They mocked him, they laughed at him. They were pretty, not only unprofessional, but they were pretty nasty. And, I'm not Richarlison's biggest sort of fan, but I do realise that there's games where we need him. And I think tonight was a perfect game for him, because we know West Ham are going to play quite a low block, in which case Sonny will struggle in the middle. I don't think Johnson's quite physical enough, but I always feel a bit of a fraud sitting here questioning, the lineup, because, Ange is the manager and I trust that he knows best. And, going by what we saw against Luton, I think we can all sort of agree that Ange may have learned that sometimes you can't leave it too late to change it. So I'm hoping that if it isn't working at halftime, he will make some changes and perhaps bring Richie on or switch it about a bit. Again, like I say, I would have liked to have seen Kulu in Basuma's place, but there's no reason why that might not happen at halftime as well.
I just worry a little bit, about the physicality. You've took out Sarr, Kulusevski, and decided not to play Richarlison. We'll see what happens. But look, here is the West Ham lineup. Let's have a quick look at this. Fabianski, of course, comes and goes because Areola ain't, he's out injured. What I will say, I don't think this is a blessing in disguise for Tottenham. I think it's a potential nightmare. Ex-Arsenal goalkeeper, plays for West Ham, will have a point to prove. And if my memory serves me correctly, even when he was at Swansea, this guy performs against Tottenham. So, that worries me a little bit. Kufal, now this is where Werner could get joy, especially Adoji if he gets on the overlap or the underlap as well. Out of Kufal, Suma, Mavropanos. Mavropanos maybe not the best of centre-backs, and Emerson then coming in as well. Ward-Prowse, Soucek and Paqueta in the midfield with Kudus, Bowen and Antonio up front. So not too many changes there. I think most of us were probably expecting that sort of lineup anyway. But Kate, West Ham have posed a lot of problems for us. They seem to have our number. It's like David Moyes is the perfect kryptonite to Ange ball. How do we stop? Look, West Ham are going to score one of two ways tonight. They ain't going to sit there and dominate possession. They ain't going to carve us open. They're going to catch us on the counter-attack, or they're going to score from set pieces. I mean, how do we stop that tonight? Because we've tried. We tried preseason. We tried earlier on the season, but it worked.
I mean, I'm going to say the same as what I said at the weekend. I think Basuma is going to be a key factor tonight. He needs to step up and boss that midfield. They've got such strengths. From Soucek down on that lineup, I'm thinking, oh my God, James Ward-Prowse is always dangerous. Soucek's dangerous. Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, Antonio. These are all really dangerous players. Plus, they've got very, very pacey wingers as well. So, our midfield needs to step up again. We was lucky in a way against Luton, although we weren't because we dominated, but our midfield wasn't great in the first half. If we start that slow against West Ham with our midfield being that lackadaisical, we will not be getting to half-time at 0-0. So for me, Basuma needs to step up massively. Madders needs to step up massively. And so does Benny. That's key for me. But I just want to see that bossing role from Basuma, that leadership in midfield, because it does definitely give everyone else confidence within the team. But it's just been sadly lacking of late, unfortunately.
Oh, look, my patience is sort of dwindling with the guy. I just think it's a shame to see a player that can reach such heights and have such effects on games. Why does he have to wait to almost be scared into it? And what I mean by that is you go back to Luton, right? Played dismal for 45 minutes. And this isn't the first time I've seen this from the guy. I pointed out a few times in my watch along. As soon as the ball goes up for injury time first half, you start seeing him getting on that ball, dribbling. I mean, as soon as the injury time board went up in the first half against Luton, he dribbled into the box. He was nearly about to have a shot. I'm like, whoa, he's woken up. I wonder why. Because he knows what's happening at halftime. He knows, there's strong words coming. So for me, I just want to see him actually, not have to be someone constantly on him, giving out to him and stuff like that. I want to see him want to be at his best, realize his potential and realize how good he can be, and drag that out of himself. There's only so much Postecoglou can do with the guy. He's done good work, breathing confidence into him, patting him on the back, telling him how great he is and stuff. But, there's only so far that'll go for you. At some point, Basuma has to want to be that guy himself. So let's wait and see. Tonight's an ideal opportunity for him to be getting back to being called Basuma. It wasn't too long earlier on in the season where we were laughing at, Arsenal paying £100 million for Declan Rice because the effect Basuma was having on games. But that's completely dwindled since then. The £100 million on Rice, they've got the longevity out of that over the season. We've got a flash in the pan. So that does concern me. But look, when it comes to West Ham, I think Ward-Prowse, I think the last 6 times he's faced Tottenham, he's been involved in 6 goals, whether it's been scoring or assisting. So I would say I don't want that guy getting any free kicks in around the edge of the area. And what I've seen from times before when he's played against us, remember at Southampton, he just sits on the edge of the box, waits for the clearance to come and has a strike. If I see him being left free tonight, I will go absolutely mad. There's been enough players in that team that have been undone by him before. So just be aware, and it comes down to simple communication. Someone sees him, either go and mark him or send someone over to him. Do not allow him to be free on the edge of the box to strike that ball. Set pieces, Vicario's going to have to come off his line and help us out here. West Ham are going to deliver that towards the near post in the 6-yard area and just send their big man, Soucek, Zuma, Mavropanos, Antonio, people like that. Just send them all in after it. Vicario, he's going to have to be brave. He's got caught a couple of times from set pieces this season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they stick one on him to stop the blocking from coming out for it. He's going to have to be on his ball tonight. He's going to have to be on the game tonight. He may not face too much from open play, but set pieces, the guy's going to have to be switched on. If he can't catch it, he's going to have to come and punch it. He's just going to have to come and command his area tonight. One area I do worry, I don't know about UK, is maybe a bit is Porro. And the reason why I say that is I have a feeling West Ham will look to put a lot of balls from the right-hand side in over his head towards the far post. Luton done it. Alfie Doherty was the happy recipient a couple of times waiting there to shoot. So I have a feeling they might get the likes of Soucek to run in on him, back post, win a header and stuff like that. For me, again, I know he's not the biggest of guys, but again, he's going to have to be brave. He's going to have to go and challenge for every ball, expecting someone like Soucek, Kudos, Antonio to peel off him and come in and try and bundle him over. He may get hurt, but he's just going to have to take the pain. These are the games where things don't come easy. You have to put your body on the line. And I want to see that tonight. If we want to keep a clean sheet, that's how it has to be done.
If we keep a clean sheet, Dave, I will. Well, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll be absolutely amazed, first of all. But yeah, I think you're spot on. We need, it's such a cliche to say, but we need all of our players to be at their A game tonight. We haven't got time for any passengers. It's got to be, whether that be they all give it their all for the first 45 and we make some changes at half time to bring on some fresh legs. But, everyone's saying West Ham are mugs. They're not mugs. And this season, they've got, even against Newcastle, it was a good performance. It's just really they lost concentration. But I mean, I wanted Ward-Prowse after we signed Maddison, and people were saying, why do you want him as well? But I
got the same. I said it when he got relegated. I was saying I'd take him. People like, why? I was like, he gives us that option we don't have in midfield.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, you could pick out players, I think, pretty much all over the pitch when it comes to West Ham, where you could say, well, I'm a bit concerned about them, Porro is obviously going to be a concern as well, like you say. But I still think it could be won and lost in midfield. That's what worries me the most. I think our midfield needs to be stepping up, because if we put our midfield display is anything like it was at Fulham, we're going to get absolutely steamrolled. It's as easy as that.
Yeah, and look, we were at 6s and 7s. I couldn't believe the room Fulham were finding themselves in. Who was it? Who's the guy? Pereira. The amount of times he was just sitting there in the middle of midfield free that they pop the ball into him and allowing him to get turned. You're not going to get away with that today. Someone like Paqueta is absolutely dangerous. You cannot allow him in with that space and time with someone like Kudos Bowen, who's on 15 goals this season, and Antonio, who always likes a goal against Tottenham as well, running at them. We've got to be aware. They've got Bowen who can produce something out of nothing. Antonio produce something out of nothing. Same as Kudos. That guy is known for a screamer, along with Lucas Paqueta and Ward-Prowse. So they do have players in that regard where they can produce something out of nothing. And they've been hand-picked for David Moyes because he does like his team to be defensive. But when he goes on the attack, he knows that he's got players that can produce something out of nothing. So it's somewhere where we have to be very careful tonight. It ain't going to be a walk in the park. I do hope that all of our concerns are completely blown out of the waters nice and earlier on, Kate. We can go and grab a couple of goals and really settle a lot of the nerves. But, we can't be naive. It is going to be a tough game tonight. It's going to be a battle. They ain't going to roll over at their home stadium, especially off the back of an embarrassing defeat when they were 3-1 up against Newcastle to lose at 4-3. They have a point to prove tonight in front of their own fans. So, and it's a London derby. I do find this season a lot of teams seem to be, or actually over the last few years, a lot of teams seem to maybe understand the North London derby or the London derbies a bit more, be up for a bit more than maybe what we are. So hopefully, we can match that tonight. Tonight's game plan is simple. Match West Ham's aggression, beat their aggression. You'll have the ball, and then it's just about being creative. What I don't want to see, Kate, is large periods where we're just knocking about 5 yards, 10 yards, a couple of people trotting around, making themselves look busy. I actually want to see us go for it, because that's why we got caught earlier on in the season. We went 1-0 up, and we didn't go for the kill.
The thing is, people are saying, oh, well, we made 669 passes the other day or something. It's like, but they were just back and forward, side to side, back. It don't mean nothing. But the thing is as well, Richarlison, going back to Richie, I think there's players like Paqueta and also Soucek and even Kufal. They've got a red card in them, If you really get under their skin and give them a bit of needle, Paqueta is, he gets booked every single game without doubt. So, that's why I think we need somebody to bring that side of the game, whether it be, obviously I don't want Romero getting himself in trouble, but he's so good at that, Richarlison, because he frustrates players, he wins fouls all the time, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a red card tonight, not going to lie. I would predict a red card if Richie had been starting, but even though he's not, I wouldn't be surprised to see a red card. I think there's going to be a lot of needle on that pitch tonight.
Oh, there will be. It's going to be hostile. It's going to be hostile. But look, these are the games I get out of bed for. These are the games I love, where there's a bit of needle between it, where it's on a knife edge, if you would like. For me, I absolutely love these environments. So hopefully Tottenham can stand up and deliver. And they're going to have to, if they want to become champions and start winning things, they're going to have to start relishing these environments instead of walking in there scared like maybe we have done in years gone by. So, look, we lost them earlier on the season. It's a chance to prove that maybe the mentality is starting to change a little. Let's see what happens. But, Kate, I mean, I've actually really enjoyed this conversation. I didn't have really any plan going into it, but because, you're such a good talker when it comes to Tottenham, you make it so easy. So where can people find you?
I'm just a good talker. You've only got to ask Jim. I don't shut up.
Well, you know what you're talking about, so that helps.
Oh, thanks, Dave. You can find me, just to go with Love Spurs. There's always daily content over there. So, yeah, it's quite chilled. Normally around 12:30 at lunchtime, you'll always find me chatting Spurs, and we do cover other teams as well. I've got a lot of Arsenal fans coming, Chelsea fans, like to cover it all, and so it's always nice and chilled over there. We had the legend that is Dave on last week, which is always an honour.
Oh, well, look, I wouldn't call myself a legend, but I did enjoy the guest appearance. It was very nice. I do actually enjoy guest appearances because I don't have to prepare anything. I can just sit back and relax and run my chops a little bit, But no, do get over, check out Kate's channel. She's growing very, very quickly. She's a good asset to the community, and she knows exactly what she's talking about, as evident here today. So please get over there, replicate that love, get over there, smash that subscribe button. And then, guys, I'm going to put my one in here, cheeky enough as well. Once you've gone over and subscribed to Kate, if you want to get over and subscribe to Irish, you can. So there's my channel link if anyone enjoys what I have to say. I like to think, those of you who maybe didn't like me at the start, I like to think I've become a much better content creator and, stuff like that, well-versed in my opinions and stuff. So hopefully I've changed your mind and you can get over there and show me the love. I am on the march for 15K. I reached 14K today. So if you guys want to send me on my way to 15K,
congratulations.
you have the power to do that. But look, guys, make sure you show the love to Kate, myself, but most importantly, the guys who set this up, the guys who, open up the community to a lot of us. We are Tottenham TV. Make sure you smash the subscribe button here. Stay tuned. Their watch along is coming up. Go on.
Dave, before you go, we haven't given our score prediction.
Oh, how rude of me, Kate. I mean, how rude of me. I would have been I wouldn't be allowed back if I didn't give one. Score prediction. Do you know what, Kate? I originally came in at the start of the week, thinking, it's going to be a very tough game. Could be, 1-0 either side. But I don't know why. I have a bit of an aura of calm about me. I just think Tottenham silently are going to turn up. I'm going to go 2-0 Tottenham tonight.
Wow. And a clean sheet, Dave. Who's scoring?
I love clean sheets. You see how much he used to Vicario as well. He loves them.
Who's going to score for us then for the two?
I think Sonny will score one. And I think Richie off the bench will score one as well.
Yes. I actually went for a 3-2 West Ham win, but I hope and pray with every part of my being that I'm wrong. But I did tip Richie to come off the bench and score, and also Werner to score the other one. So, but I hope and pray I'm wrong. And normally when I predict a loss, I am wrong. So yeah, it's good to be wrong sometimes.
Well, look, you're more calm and measured around match day. With me, you're never going to get out me predicting a loss. So, it's not in my heart. I feel like if I'd done that, we would lose. So, I like to live in a bit more Dave's land on match day, which sometimes is a good place to be. But look, guys, that's it from myself and Kate. We do have our own things to do. Kate has to go and get herself ready for the big watch along with Jim in our sitting room. And I also have to go and get myself ready for my own watch along as well. So, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully, we've got you pumped up and maybe killed a bit of time for you before the game. Stay tuned for the boys watch along here, and we'll see you all back here on Sunday for the next game against Nottingham Forest. Thank you very much for tuning in and your support. We'll see you soon. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
We never stop. Let's go.
Yeah.
Come on.